Josh and I looked like we were going to get in a street fight. When I saw his presentation, I said, not enough talk about apps, so we'll reserve some at the end. But in honor of street fight, I was thinking about what I'm going to talk about, what I wanted to share with you. So I wore my Sugar Ray Robinson t-shirt. So the ultimate street fighter. And we can attack the market being a Sugar Ray Robinson, or if you know what this shirt represents, he fought Jake LaMotta, the Raging Bull, 6 times. And Jake LaMotta was a Raging Bull. And Sugar Ray Robinson was a tactician, genius. And on this celebrated fight, which was the middleweight championship, it took 13 rounds, but he destroyed them. They call it the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And Sugar Ray won 5 times out of 6. So that goes to show you, do you want to be a bull? Do you want to be a tactician? So I'm going to talk a little bit about what's happening in the local markets, hyper-local, how programmatic fits in. And it's all about being a tactician, being smart, having data, working with the right partners. So, first slide, I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of this, so we'll go through it quickly. Mobile will surpass time spent on TV and become the largest media globally by 2019. We hear a lot about mobile, we hear a lot about hyper-local, we're hearing terms like programmatic. So I really think what we're seeing is that location and the ability to utilize location is now getting the attention and the respect, even though it's been around since day one, right? And as we talk about in-app, I get it, some of these numbers are skewed because people are spending a lot of time on Facebook, on Twitter, but it's emerging. Your local TV providers are telling you, hey, download the Spectrum app. So we have more apps that are trusted instead of more of the junk stuff, right? So we're collecting and working with the providers to augment and take that data and use it to provide a real experience. Mobile advertising, right? 75 billion, we've seen these numbers over and over and over again, right, in digital. Mobile display, banners, right, 52%. So when you take all this collectively, the numbers are big, right? These are big, big numbers. So how do you get a piece of that pie, right? And as we get into the multi-layered, multi-leveled campaigns, I stole that from somebody that I talked to this morning, and I said, if you didn't mind, I'm going to use it. We take nationals and we go multi-layer, multi-level. It's moving down regionally throughout the markets and into the local markets because we can do a better job delivering the experience that our customers, that the users are looking for, right? Location context is everything. You've heard this, right? You've been on apps, you've been on sites, they've asked to get your location. Depending on what it is, if it's cars.com, you're saying yes, 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 yes. If it's something that's not meaningful or relevant to you, you're just saying, no, geez, I'm not going to send out my location. Even though you say no, believe me, they know where you're at, right? So, here we're showing, different contexts, whether it's a fitness seeker or an urban professional or a professional traveler, right? Or we're looking for food, right? Being able to take that location, right? Analyzing the movements of an individual, we as an industry, and of course Verve and the Velocity platform as a software as a service, we can do a better job and get better results, right? So inside Verve, we've talked a lot about movement science, and it's a key critical component of our Velocity platform. When we work with partners, we work with publishers, or we work with demand providers, people who are sourcing campaigns, the real relevant, the aspect of working with us is that we have this rich repository of data and the ability to hone in and target and be tactical. Be Sugar Ray, don't be Jake. Even though Jake is outliving Sugar Ray by 2 decades, he talks about this all the time in that had he been more tactical, he might have had a better career. And we all want to be in this, the longevity in this. We don't want to be tombstones. We don't want the business to pass us by. So again, you'll hear a lot. There's people from my team here. We talk about Velocity, and it's a great name, especially as we evolve into the programmatic space, because programmatic's about automation. It doesn't fit any better than in the local markets because of what it takes, the flight campaigns, line items, 1,000 line items. It's not a national campaign, but adding meaningful insights and data and tactical creative to reach the end user. Here we easy to use platform, that's our moniker, and you'll hear us talk a lot about at scale. You know, when you take hyper-local in the past, you heard the term local, we went national, we go local, we go hyper. As you squeeze the funnel, right, it's awful hard to get the signals that you need to get the data and the results because you're constricting the flow, right? The ability to go hyper-local is very, very tough. And there's companies out there who are successful, been in the business a long time, working with national brands like CBS, NBC, ABC, ESPN, and then also working with regional brands like Cox, Raycom, Nexstar. So again, at scale is as you move into the programmatic space. So here we go, let me just keep moving here. And then when you look at the elements of a campaign, you know, what's happening, right? Especially when you add location, right? It's about accuracy, right? Audience precision. A memorable experience. You know, I'm sure you've talked to some folks when you've seen an interesting ad, right? In an interesting place. These things are very, very important. And then lastly, if we can't measure it, right, then we're not going to get the return buys, right? So being able to work on a platform, being able to work with technology that hits all three aspects, especially when you go into the local space, right? Again, the accuracy, the precision, the experience, and all that's meaningless unless we get the measurement. So as I look at the evolution of a campaign or a buy, right? You guys get the opportunities to go out and you got to plan for it, right? You need the tools and the insights, right, to do the pre-sales. So having platforms like Velocity to visualize, okay, I'm going to visualize this, I'm going to see how much of the spend we can suck up, I'm going to see what's available to us. It's very, very important. So being able to geo-target based upon location, based upon points of interest, you know, are things that are available to you in platforms like Velocity, are, I believe, tools that you need to actually go get more of the spend. And then again, getting back to those memorable experiences, the ability to design something. Since we're talking hyper-local, since we're talking local, we're talking automation, right? It's important that design the creative, design the click-through actions that are relevant to locations. So, hey, where are these places? Where are the points of interest? How do I get there, right? Potentially what else is around me as I go there, but then being able to offer some value, right? And then taking somebody to a site. So while we're in a CTR world, in the hyper-local space, in local and in programmatic, getting buyers, getting brands to understand what happens on the CTAs is a data point, is a kernel that we all should be attacking and helping everybody understand the walk and the talk, right? And then having tools to build, launch, and optimize mobile campaigns. Very, very different than desktop, right? You've seen a lot of desktop providers migrate into mobile. They just add a tab, migrate to, added it to mobile, HTML5, right? It's dynamic, it'll render. But then the supply that you're hitting is all exchange supply. It's not that good supply that we're talking about that really understands the movements of the people, right? And then again, the measure. So we took the audience insights, the flighting, and the measurement, always on the measurement, analyzing campaign performance, right? So now as we talk about a programmatic approach, think automation. How do you automate the tools? How do you open up the pipes? And it's taking campaigns, and think about it, and we're going to put it on a supersonic highway, okay? As performance comes in, right, the measurement's there, you'll see the pipes open up. Right? The pipes will just gradually open up. And there's various ways that we're performing today in a programmatic world. Private marketplaces, programmatic guarantees, right? Audience only. Standard industry terms. We're working with partners like Rubicon and, of course, DBM, Double Click Bid Manager, and the Trade Desk. All great brands. And, in any programmatic offering, again, we're using the word scalable, and we want to make sure that our customers have the same tools that big time agencies, multinational agencies have, right? So where Verve, and we focus on, and we really put our brand out there in Verve verified supply, and we're verifying all the supply, fraud-free, in-app, and it's something that we're differentiating against the industry, across the industry. Because there are other exchanges, some big, and they're all big. Exchanges are big. We don't want to name too many. Everybody knows who the exchanges are. It doesn't matter. Everything's just thrown in the exchange, and it's up to you to curate, to collate, to print it up, to make it look good for the buyers. Right? So we talked about different programmatic options. This is just very specific to creative. Probably one of the most popular creatives today in mobile is the MREX 300 by 250s. They cross over. But think about, in our space, it's all about the geotactics, right? So anything that you need to geo-target, geo-fence, and geo-conquest. The CPMs go up, right? The reliance on us to measure on those three aspects become more difficult and more, that's why they have to pay more on a conquest, because we have to prove it that we were able to conquest somebody. And then this is just a typical overview of what the programmatic ecosystem looks like. This is specific to us at Verve with the Velocity team. Just a representation of some of the supply. And you'll see these brands, like the Major League Baseballs, like the Score, like NBC. I mean, it's all about their apps these days. They need apps because of things that are happening, you know, with Chrome browser and things that are happening with Safari. In that they're a more trusted company when they get people into their apps. Their customers are more loyal. The data that the industry that we're allowed to use is more clean, and our abilities, your abilities to be successful on in-app inventory is just, it's wide open to us. And then we talk about Verve Kinetic, right? We're observing a lot of data, device sessions, and then the activation. So it's real easy, right? There's the demand funnel, there's data, and there's supply. You know, being able to bring all these things together in a trusted, manageable environment and pushing it out. My Velocity team, which many of the guys are here today, team is here today, pushing it out to you guys, making it available to help get you into the programmatic space or get you into the automated space is very important to us. So, keep going here. And that's it, I made it. He just hit me with the time sign. Does that mean no street fight between Joss and me? All right, so I'm Mark. I'm like 5 months in with the company, but have a lot of experience in the industry. So we're around if anybody wants to reach out and talk to us. Michael, Ray, we're all here. So thanks for having me. And next year, different t-shirt, right?